IDW Sonic Comic Issue 43. As I expected, the fight scene is complete nonsense. Instead of Sonic simply spin dashing each of the Zeddy again like last time and doing that all scene, and having the scene be short of course, he jumps while having his hand on Zaz's head, fighting like a complete rookie with way too much cockiness for it. I'm honestly tempted to just skip his entire fight scene with them. But if I did that, then I wouldn't be able to expose every single problem with it. So what would be the point of making the video? And with Sonic being made a complete idiot here, it doesn't deserve a free pass. While I like seeing Zomom punch Zaz and send Zeke away because he missed Sonic, I'd rather see the Zeddy get punched than spin dash. It has more impact. Them getting spin dashed seems to have made no difference at all, instead of them all being injured from a Sonic Speed ball smacking at them at the very least. I guess he didn't hit them with a sharp part of him, or he would have buzzsawed through them. Sonic jumps on Zavok's head. I really wish it was explained that the Zeddy are made of much tougher stuff. It was implied in Worlds Unite at least. Because you'd think someone with Sonic's weight jumping on someone's head would knock them out immediately. But I have to assume he's just that tough. Still, what is he thinking? Well, to be fair, he has to stand still and take a second to charge up a spin dash before he can do it. And he's already got all 6 of the Zeddy's attention. And they're all pretty close to him. So he can't spin dash in time before he'd get hurt. But what about the homie attack if he has time to jump? The homie attack is treated worse than Chaos Control in this comic. It's like it doesn't exist at all. Which is unacceptable in a comic where the adventure games are a part of its past. Even if Sonic couldn't spin dash or air dash into them, why isn't he punching them? I know he's capable of punching. I've seen Sonic the Fighters in Sonic Battle. Oh, I guess he's holding back because they're organic beings. So he thinks he'd kill them if he hit them at Sonic speed. You'd think he'd have precise enough control over his speed and enough experience fighting people like Rough and Tumble at this point to know exactly how to hit people right. Sonic's just too overpowered a character to not look like an idiot in dragged out fight scenes with organic beings like this. Why doesn't he run around them all and create a tornado and throw them up in the air and just keep doing that? He instantly thought to try that in the Metal Virus arc. And he's more than used to the idea that he's super fast by now. Sonic's supposed to be seen as cool, and this is just ruining that image. Tangle's struggling to open a door, wanting to help him out. And finally, Sonic spin dashes at Zomom's face, presumably feet first. The sharp part of his spin dash is facing away from his face, so I guess that's supposed to be why it won't leave a mark. He says he needs Tails' doodads. It's actually impressively smart of him to think to merely call them that in front of the Zeddy instead of giving away to them that they're meant to disable their powers. Sonic charges up a spin dash when Zeke's sneaking up on him from behind and about to hit him with a staff, because Sonic decided to try to spin dash without his back against a wall, so that this wouldn't happen in a crowded fight. If he gets knocked out, I'm gonna be mad. I know it's 6 against 1, so there's some logic, because he never faced all of them at once before. But come on, he's not an idiot. He knew he had to kick Zavok to attack him from Lost World. Why did he merely jump on him at this point? Tails is flying the plane on the way there to try to get there faster. Even though he's just as fast as Sonic in the games, but whatever. Gotta have Sonic be special by ignoring the game canon. The Chaotix are on their way, but they're having car trouble. Whisper asks Tangle to wrap her tail around her and thanks her and tells her to hold her still as she points her Wispon at the door. And apparently shoots through it and hits Zomom. Well, thankfully, unlike I expected, Zeke hasn't knocked Sonic out with an attack from behind. So why was that drawn then? Sonic thanks Whisper and kicks Zomom. It was bad enough there was a flash of light needlessly censoring when he slammed Zaz. Why did we see a flash of light instead of seeing Sonic's shoe impact him? Did the writer think we liked the Zeddy and didn't want to see them get hit? Because this isn't satisfying. Zeke deflects the pink spin dash sent to him by using his staff. So I guess that staff is made out of extremely hard material so that Sonic Speed spin dash doesn't cut through it. But Sonic jumps on him because he was so distracted. Xena gets punched by Tangle's tail poking through the hole. though again there's no impact to it. Why is there a flash of light drawn when Sonic spin dashes at Zaz? To make it even more lame, Zaz stops caring the next panel. Zavok throws Zora at Sonic as Sonic spin dashes at Zaz and bounces off his head. Not that we see him impact his head anyways. The word crash is written, and there's some pink stuff nearby, and Sonic says thanks again. It took me a bit to realize that this was supposed to mean that he crashed into a pink spin dash sent to him. One extra panel would have shown that. It was smart of Zora to wait for so long until there was a right opportunity to strike, but you'd think someone who's a masochist would want to throw himself into the fight right away. The scene is tedious and could have been much better. Why won't Sonic just punch any of them? Zaz has tedious dialogue as well, and I can't relate to Sonic because he doesn't punch him to interrupt him for some reason. Zavok doesn't care about the pink spin dashes hitting his back, which does make sense only because he laughed off spin dashes in the game, so apparently that's a magical ability of his. And he uses his powers against Whisper's technology. What took him so long if he's been putting up with the Wisp-On for a while? What a moron. Then reality ensues, as after Tangle trails off, Zavok pulls it. I figured she was injured after this point, from all the slamming, but that would have made sense and have there be actual tension in the comic. Sonic kicks Zaz with no impact being shown again. So even though Zaz is dazed, I don't actually feel like he got hit at any point. Who cares? Why is Sonic waiting through his tedious dialogue instead of punching him some more? I certainly didn't care enough to read it at first. I guess he hit Sonic. The art didn't exactly try to show it. I guess Sonic need him. All I see is a flash of light and Zaz being away from him and the coloration being wrong because deadlines. Nobody loves the Deadly Six, so why do people want to see a scene like this? Sonic spin dashes at Zaz, but there just has to be a blue light around him to censor the impact of that, too. If these light flashes were in Dragon Ball Z, people would be mocking it. The slam sound effect isn't enough to make up for that. He's not lying on the floor. Why is he saying he's done instead of paying attention to what's around him when there's 6 Zeddy in the room? So he got hit by Zavok because he was being a complete amateur. Zavok says some big words boring me, as I'm thankfully didn't knock him out. And I guess Sonic spent all the time he was for some reason talking to him without punching him, trying to charge up his spin dash. Which is why he was able to spin dash away from Zavok in time when he had his full attention. You'd think he would have interrupted Sonic in the process. Or does he not have to stop to charge it up now? He gets kicked away in his spin dash by Xena. And it's insulting that the spin dash doesn't send her flying backwards from its momentum. Are her feet made of metal or something? Because the spin dash cuts through metal robots like it's nothing. Then Zavok furthers the wimpification by effortlessly catching his spin dash. At least we see that the sharp part of it is faced away from his hand, but what were the chances of that happening? 50-50. Because the spin dash is always spinning around, so he was lucky that the sharp part didn't get caught. Anytime this happens to Sonic, it's an insult to his character. So Zavok smacks him into the wall, as I wonder how bad the writer's taste is that he thinks we want the freaking Deadly Six to have a long fight scene with Sonic where they look dangerous and are taken seriously, when they're some of the most hated Sonic characters in history. Pretty sure nobody wanted to see them again. So what's with the preferential treatment? I could understand if they had been severely fleshed out. Even then, there's no way they can be made likable. At least Sonic does get up after he falls down, so I don't have to get too mad when I thought it would knock him out. And that might have actually been more realistic. I guess he's in pain. Zavok kisses up to Sonic for some reason, and Sonic stupidly baits him talking, asking him to jump to the part where he actually does something. Why does he want that? He was doing stuff the whole fight. Why would he want him to skip to attack him again? Does he want to be knocked out to get it over with? Can't he just go punch him? He spin dashed at Zavok's head again. Again, completely failing to learn his lesson from Lost World like a rookie. But Zavok doubles over in pain apparently. So all of a sudden his immunity to the spin dash wore off, when he had it 5 seconds ago. I mean, I'm pretty sure jumping on his head didn't hurt him in the game. That's why you needed to kick him? He kicks Zaz and Xena, but Zomom sneaks up behind him to grab him. Then all of a sudden Zalmon gets electrocuted by yellow light when Tails is holding his zapper. Guess he threw a zapper at him and he's just holding a different zapper? I wish Tails was written to get here a lot sooner. That could have easily been the case. We don't know exactly how far away his workshop is from this place. Tails hands Sonic a bag to wear, and he throws the zappers on the various Zeti, which could have all happened in one panel, where Sonic appeared multiple times to represent how fast he is. But we gotta pad the story out somehow, even though this could have easily not taken the entire issue. But then it wouldn't have been dramatic resolution of the base attack arc. Zavok sneaks up on Sonic and smacks him into the floor. What was Tails doing in that time? Instead, he talks as if just now he's going to use the skills Sonic taught him, and he spin dashes at Zavok to make him let Sonic go. It's cheesy that Tails said anything at all before spin dashing at him. He could have been interrupted in that time. And again, if Tails is supposed to be smart, you'd think he'd have taken in and memorized the information that Zavok needs to be kicked in his boss fight to be injured. So he would have kicked him. But I can understand forgetting that about Zavok because it's so unintuitive. And usually Sonic spin dashes that stuff. Zavok grabs him easily and smacks him into the wall. And, I guess what happens next is that Tails extends his foot close enough to Sonic. Did Sonic lift up his shoe and connect it to his shoe? That still wouldn't explain this. I can't make any sense of this. How did they combine to do their Sonic Force spin dash when they're each being held tightly in a different hand separate from each other? How would they be able to spin at all, let alone spin as one? Obviously Zavok should have been defeated when Tails smacked him in the chest, instead of in a confusing as hell Deus Ex Machina, where the art was an extreme close-up so I couldn't tell what was going on. What would the previous writer have made these issues like? What were they thinking? The comic was doing good, and they utterly failed to learn their lesson. I thought he retired. I think Evan Stanley was doing okay. Zavok gets electrocuted, and I wonder how that happened. Sonic throws a zapper at Tails from the ricochet over to Zor. At least that's more interesting than it being thrown at him directly. And sadly, all of the Zeti still have their eyes open when they're supposed to be stunned. I thought that would have been really easy to get right. Sonic and Tails ask each other if they're okay and fist bump, and Tangle asks if they're okay as well, and for some reason the story drags out them being told that Belle was kidnapped because the heroes don't let Tangle talk. The only thing I looked forward to with this issue is that I would get to see Starline's plans with Belle, but I didn't even get that. Instead it was a nonsense fight scene that somehow managed to drag out for literally the entire issue. This issue is by Ian Flynn. Somehow it managed to drag out one fight with the Zeti to the entire issue with nothing of value happening. Normally the Zeti being beaten up is something satisfying that we'd all want to see. But not if it's mostly just censored by stupid flashes of light instead of us seeing Sonic impact them. You could literally skip to the end of the story and you'd miss nothing. All that happened that mattered was that Tails got the zappers on them. Sonic seemed to fight like an idiot, frustrating me the whole time. I wondered if the reason he couldn't just spin dash them all in one panel over and over again was because charging up the spin dash took too long, and he'd get attacked in the process. But then why was he able to spin dash away from Zavok? Why didn't he punch them? He mostly just tried to avoid them or use spin dashes on them when they didn't seem to care about a ball smacking them at over 700 miles per hour. And it's not even explained that they have rings to even try to make sense. This could have been great if we saw Sonic punch and kick the Zeti constantly, but for the most part it took them so seriously that they gave him a miserable time and smacked him into a wall, when these are all one-dimensional comedy characters with no charm or fanbase. It was so obvious that we needed to see what Starline was going to do in this issue, to give intrigue and variety. But instead it wasted the entire issue on a fight scene that could have been resolved in just a couple of panels of Sonic spin dashing. Because they clearly hated being spin dashed and got knocked over in the last issue. It ends on him finding out that Belle got kidnapped. Imagine if this was the final issue. That's what bad pacing does. IDW put itself up for sale because it's having financial problems. It can't be remotely hard to write an enjoyable story where the Zeti get smacked around like ragdolls and humiliated, with basically no new ideas. I'm sure AOSDH would have handled it better.
But even that plot left me frustrated. Sonic got to them to fight them because he's fast, and I hate that I had to be this way. If they were fighting with someone who never spin dashed, like Vector, they would get punched and kicked the whole time, and I wouldn't be wondering why the fight was lasting so long. You'd think he'd use a tornado attack on them at some point, but no.